Hello. So is my voice is audible for all of us? So just give a comment. Shall we start the section? Okay. Okay. So I think my voice is audible for all. Okay. So what is this? What is we going to do now in JavaScript projects from 1 to 5 days? We are going to work with the JavaScript project. So what we're going to focus is we're just going to focus on a little bit of mini projects. Okay. So it's not an entire project or entire development project, anything like entire front end or entire like that. Okay. So we just going to focus on the some of the part of JavaScript, how JavaScript is used. Okay, so you may have some clarity, right? So if you came to know where are the place that JavaScript is actually used in the development field means, then you can able to like understand that. So okay, so this is where JavaScript is used, right? So that is what I going to do now, and in here we're going to see about so much of projects. Okay, so in the before also there is a section for like around 15 projects in JavaScript has been taken. Okay, so I'm going to carry on that, like starts from the 15 we're going to do projects based on JavaScript. Okay, so this is truly based on like how we implement JavaScript in the web development and what all are the place we are using JavaScript, and how the JavaScript is used in the development field and as like a front end. That is what we're going to see now. Okay, so this is going to be an and completely understanding of the JavaScript. So if you are from like I'm taking JavaScript classes from the start of the month itself, so there are 10 classes. Around I take 10 hours in JavaScript, so we covered all the basics, all the things. Okay, so all the basics in JavaScript, all the little bit intermediate concepts in JavaScript, all the things we have taken. Okay, so in that concept, okay, so in that concept is enough to go through this projects and all. Okay, so if you are new here, just give a comment. If you are new here means I just give a comment, I will let you know. Okay, so if you are new here, I highly suggest you need a basic understanding like what is events, what is loops, what is functions, what is array iterators. That basic functionalities is actually needed to get into the JavaScript and this projects. Okay, so my classes, my previous classes, I taken 10 classes, right? So that 10 classes is more than enough. What all are the topic that I covered in the JavaScript, that is more than enough to go through this projects and all. Okay, so if you're new here, I highly suggest you need a little bit, that's it. You need to understand the syntax, that's it. That is enough to go with the projects. Okay, so today what we're going to see about a little bit increment functionality of the JavaScript, how to use the JavaScript to the increment functionality. And you may think like what is incrementing, and several website has been used that increment functionality. For example, I can say if you go for any some websites in the internet, you can see their followers, right? So you can see the followers in social media, like for example they have a YouTube channel, they have an something like Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, anything. Okay, so they have an social media platforms, and they put an how many followers they are, right? For example, if I go for GitHub, you can see that how many followers in GitHub, right? So if I have my own website, what I do, I can use that GitHub followers in my website, right? So little bit functionality, how can we use that social media followers to little bit functional to like how to establish, like how to showcase our followers lively. For example, I just show you an website. Okay, you can see that how they are doing, and that is what we going to replicate today. Okay, so I just share my screen. Just a minute. Yeah, fine. So I think now my screen is available to all, right? So this is okay, so I just show you an website. Okay, here you can see this is an website. What I want to show to you here, you can see the different courses, student enrolled, successful transition. And right now you see, right, there is a counter is running, right? So if I refresh that page, you can see it is running from like something like this it creates an interactivity, right? It share like you can see start from 0, it is incrementing. Right now we are in around 400 courses on our website, and 40,000 students enrolled. Successful transition is 10,000, right? So you see that, right? So actually you see the transition, right? You see the transition, how it works, right? That is what actually we going to recreate it. Okay, so that is what actually we going to recreate it. That counter not audible properly. Okay, so whether it is audible for all, I check my device, it will be fine. Yasu, can you check your internet connection and all, whether it is audible for others? Can you give a comment? Otherwise I want to check my device. Okay, so I think it is audible in my mobile and it is fine for me. Okay. Okay, so if you are not audible, just give a comment. Okay, so this is what we going to recreate. Okay, so that is what we're going to recreate. Instead of saying like how many students, how many courses and all, we're going to say about the followers. Like for example, I have a social media followers of 12k subscriber. Yes, it is audible. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, okay, so that is what we're going to see. Okay, so that we're going to create a social media follower link. Okay, so we're going to create an auto increment, and we're going to see that. Okay, so how to increment and how to show it in a top level. Okay, so that is what we're going to do. I don't know anything about JavaScript, and Mohammed Aman, it's going to be easy. I'm going to explain it from scratch only, but I highly recommend that you need to know that little bit of JavaScript. I will explain the concepts and all. If you feel some any difficulties, bear with me. You can understand it at the end of this 1 hour. Okay, so you can able to understand. So that is what we going to create. Okay, for that, what I going to do, I just going to start from the scratch. So it's not only in JavaScript, it's going to focus only on JavaScript, but I'm going to little bit quickly revise your HTML and CSS too, because I want to create a nice interface. Okay, okay, so that is what we just going to show. So for that, what I'm going to do, I just go and create. I just created a project. So I am under a mission that what I am under a mission means, like, just a minute, I just share the screen. Okay, so I am under mission. What means, like for example, I'm going to create 50 projects. Okay, so it's going to be maybe 30 or 35 projects we're going to create a many projects like this we're going to create. And if you follow our link, YouTube, that's going to be a free one. Okay, you can go for any other platform or course material. You can see these projects is going to be a paid one, like 50 days of JavaScript, you need to pay for 4,000 rupees, like that. This is going to be free in our entirely free in our YouTube channel. Okay, so that is what we're going to see. Okay, so I just created an website, that is a folder, that is I named as like TWD 50 projects in JavaScript. That is the mission I have taken. Okay, what I'm going to do, I just delete everything. I'm going to create it from the scratch. Okay, so I just going to create another folder. So all the 5 projects is going to be in this folder. Okay, so I just going to say like, what are we going to say, social media followers increment counter. Okay, you can give a smaller name also. Okay, so I am want pretty specific in my project, so that is why I'm taking this long. If you want to do this, you can take a mini long. Okay, so inside this folder, I just going to open with my Visual Studio Code editor, and I know that how you all familiar with what is VS Code and all. So VS Code is a code editor that you can go and download in your website. Okay, so in your browsers, and it is freely available. It is like in olden days they use Notepad, right? So it is like Visual Studio Code editor is a code editor where we put all our code. Okay, so if you install properly, if you give all the access, you can see. If you right click this, you can able to see the open with code. Okay, if you don't find this open with code, what you can do, you just go for this path and type CMD. Okay, so your PowerShell will be open in your desktop. If you're using Mac, and you can see that terminal will open. Okay, here what I'm going to do, you just want to say code, give a space and dot. This is something like Linux command, basic Linux commands and all. And you can just press enter, and you can see that we are into that folder. Here you can see social media followers. This is the folder where we created, and we can use this Visual Studio Code editor to edit our codes. Okay, so now I delete the unwanted folders and all. So this is the folder actually we want. Okay, so right now I'm inside opened Visual Studio Code with inside that folder. Now I'm going to create a file. So for creating a file, here you can see and a folder plus is there, right? A file plus is there, right? So this is helpful for creating a new file. And here you can see if you want to create a folder, you can create a folder by clicking this icon, and for refresh you can use this. Okay, so I'm going to create a file. I'm going to name that as index dot. You can name whatever name you want, but the extension should be HTML. Okay, so because I need a basic HTML to show our project. Okay, so that is why I needed a basic HTML. So I just created an HTML project. Okay, so go with HTML and then we create other files when it comes needed. Okay, so and also I highly suggest go for your extension. So Visual Studio Code is famous for its extensions. Okay, so go for the extensions. Just click this extension icon, and here you can search for the live server. So what this do means it saves most of our time. Instead of go and get into localhost and giving reference each and every time, if you are using the live server, it does all the work. Okay, so whatever the code we are returning here, it automatically show it up without refreshing, and it serve the files to the browser. Okay, so just go and install it. Okay, right now I'm already installed the files, and what I'm going to do, I just going to create an sample template in my HTML after installing the live server. So for creating an boilerplate, what you need to do, either you just say HTML :5. If you just click this, means what happened, this boilerplate will come. Or otherwise, what you can do, you can go with this apostrophe sign. Okay, so you just write apostrophe sign and click enter. Okay, like this, I just click enter, and you can see the boilerplate. So boilerplate is nothing but a template to start. Okay, a template. Poor video quality, nothing visible, sir, can you improve it? So I think so it's like, wait a minute, I will check it right now, just give a minute. So can other students, can you tell me whether the video is not visible to all? Mm, just give a minute. Okay, I check the quality, how it's working. It's not visible too well. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, I think so. Okay, just give a minute. Can you able to see now clearly the code visible to you? Like I would just give a zoom in for you. So now the code is visible for you. You can capable to see the code. I think I just installed some themes. That's why it's happened. Okay. So what I can do? Just a minute. Mm, mm, not showing. Okay. Now it is visible for all. Now it is visible for all. Can you tell me? Or I want to use another theme, or like, now it is visible for all. Now the code is visible for all of you. Just check your give a quick comment. We go very much fast. Now it's visible for all. Or not yet. No. Why? Just give a minute. Not visible. Instead of Okay. Yeah, now you can be able to see the code, right? Yeah, now you can, now it is visible for all. Just give a quick comment. It is visible. You can see the code. Can I check? Can I check? Yeah, fine, right? So it is visible. Okay. 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 Sorry for the delay. Okay. So I just, okay. So we created a boilerplate. Okay. So that is what we have done. And no, not why. But I can able to see increase your video quality. Like for example, you can put the video quality for 480. I can able to see the code clearly. Okay, check, increase the video quality. It is very clear in my mobile too. Okay, so increase the video quality, not see in 250 pixel or something like that. It will be not visible for you. Increase the video quality to 480 pixel. Increase the video quality to 480 pixel. It is visible for me. It is clearly visible for me. Like it shows everything. Yeah, thank you, it is visible. Yeah, increase your video quality, other students please. Okay, so what next we going to do? So this is the boilerplate, and I think you know familiar with HTML and CSS. I just going to say about like h1, and I just say like first of all we increase that increment counter. This is going to be my title. Okay, so this is going to be my title, and inside the h1 I just going to say like social, I'm going to test that something. That is what I just, social media, something like that. And what I'm going to do, I just go and open with it my live server. If I open with my live server, you can see that is visible. That is displaying the work what we have done in the code editor. That is what code editor actually do. Okay, so now we're going to edit the code. Okay, sir, here will be available later for the revision like other videos. Yes, every videos is here. It will be available. You can get it and get it in also for later revision, whatever you want. Okay, so I will give you the time to discuss. Okay, so because its times is running, I just want to complete the project and we can discuss. Okay, so I will give last 10 minutes of the time, and we can discuss all the things. Okay, okay, so just a minute. Okay, so what I going to do, I just going to create a social media project for several things, right? For example, mm, we're just going to create for Facebook, we're going to create for Twitter, and we're going to create it for LinkedIn. Okay, so for that I want an CDN link that is called as fav icons. Okay, so by using this fav icons we can able to access the icons. Okay, so we want several icons, right? So for that we need this fav icons and all. So for that we need a CDN. Okay, so I just go and type fav icon CDN. So CDN is nothing but it is a link like format, and where you can get the CDN link for that. Okay, so CDN is like an it acts as CDN.js. It acts as to access all the data inside that particular website, and we can use that in our page. Okay, like how the font, like you are importing Google fonts and all, right? So the same like it will work. So if you go for the cdn.js, you can find the photoawesome.cdn.js, and here, so this is cdn.js is like a library where you can get all the JS libraries in a link format. Okay, so you use this link means you can get access to all the methods. If you want to use jQuery, you want to use the CDN. If you want to use the fav icon, you want to use the CDN, like that. Okay, so instead of, if you don't use the CDN, what you want to do, you need to download. Okay, you need to download it locally, and then only you want to use that. Okay, so now I don't want to download this, so I just go and click this tag icon. Okay, so tag icon, and paste it in your browser. Okay, like this. Okay, so after pasting it, you can see nothing is changed. Okay, nothing is changed, but now you can able to get access for the font awesome. So if you don't know font awesome, just Google it, you can find out. Okay, so I just go for fontawesome.com, Okay, so it is an excellent one where we can get all the icons. Okay, so where we can get all our icons and all. Okay, so that is what are we going to see. And here you can see, if I go like this and get start for free, you don't want to pay anything. Okay, so just give a search here, and here whatever the icons I said, whatever the icons we needed. So the icons we needed is something like LinkedIn. I just want to show the LinkedIn. So I click LinkedIn, here you can see, and LinkedIn free version is showing. So I want this. Okay, I just click this, and you can see you get the code. Okay, you get the HTML code. You just copy this and put it in your Visual Studio Code. For example, I put it in my body and I save this, and I just go for the increment counter. You can see now I can able to access that. If I don't use that CDN link, if I don't use the CDN link, or if I don't do anything like this, means what would happen? Then we are not able to access this. Okay, so that is only a problem here. Okay, so if you use the CDN, it's a better way to go with. Otherwise, you need to download it and you need to use every time. Okay, so whatever the other icons I said, so other social media platform is YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube. Okay, so I want this icon. I just copy this. Bear with me, I will explain all the projects. Okay, so I just what I going to do, and the next thing what I going to do, and I just go for the Facebook. Okay, so I think the 2K kids will never use the Facebooks. Okay, they use Instagram most, right? If you want to add Instagram, you can search for this and you can find out the Instagram icon too. Okay, so if I go here, and here you can see or YouTube, Facebook, and everything is here. So now we're going to create an HTML by using this. We're going to create a decent front end. Okay, so we're going to work with the HTML. So I just going to show it in a very minimum screen like this. Like this is fair enough, and all the other code file is going to be displayed here. Okay, so inside this only we're going to discuss. I think everyone is good with that, right? So we can go and we can work with that. Right now we don't want the font or some. So this is our coding and this is our output. Okay, so in the browser, so what I'm going to do, I just going to create inside, just a minute, I just going to create a div tag. Okay, so first of all what I'm going to do, I just going to, this is that, and I just going to create a div, and I just going to say dot container. So what is this dot container? It's going to create a class for me. So it is like embeds, where you can build your code much faster. You can use the embeds, and if you don't know embeds, it's pretty easy that you use some shortcut to create some of the coding words. Okay, so that is embeds. If I put dot, so if you use in CSS, if you put dot, what would happen? You will be able to select that class, right? So same like this, if you put dot, means it can able to create the shortcut. Okay, so I just inside the div, I just, this is act as a container for our website. And next what I going to do, I just going to add the image. Okay, so I just going to add the image here, and what image, it's going to be this, and paste it here. And here below this image, I just going to create another div dot counter. So there, here only we going to display the value. For example, I have 12,000 followers, I'm saying like example. So 12,000 followers I have. Okay, so I just say 12,000 in my counter here. If I go through it, here you can see LinkedIn 12,000, and here inside this, below this, I just going to create another span tag here. Okay, so inside this, why just going to say what is this, LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn fans. Okay, LinkedIn fans, like this. So I want to create the same thing for the all the three. So what I can do, I just copy this and I paste it for the 3 times, 1 and 2. So what I can do, instead of this fast, we can remove all other things. Like for example, I just remove this. Here what I can do, I just put the YouTube. Okay, I just put this YouTube and I just paste it here. And for counter, here we mention I have 5,000 subscribers. Okay, so this is what I have, like that. And next what I'm going to do, I just going to create for Facebook. Okay, so we remove this. Okay, we remove this and we put the icon for the Facebook. Okay, like this. And here what I'm going to do, for Facebook, I just going to say like it's going to be 3,000, like something like that. Okay, so rename this Facebook. not Facebook. Okay, so here it's going to be YouTube friends. YouTube. Okay, like this. If I refresh this, and here you can see it is good, right? It is actually good, but it is not actually we wanted, right? It is not actually we wanted. We want some other stylings too. Okay, so for that we need to add the style pot. So how can we add the style pot? So you know how to add a style pot, right? So you need to use the link. Okay, so link, you can use the .css. It will create something like this, and you can write the file name here. Okay, so the rel is an attribute that will help you to create the style sheet, and href is like something like it is also an attribute. It will tell which file I want to access. So here it is default style.css. We just go and create another folder that is called a style.css. I think you are very well with the external css, how to work with the external css and all. Okay, so whatever code I going to give here, it is going to replicate. It is going to replicate in the in my HTML page. It is act as a layer. So how can I check this? Okay, so for checking this, I just going to say body. Okay, so I have a property called background color. I going to say violet, like this. Okay, and I just save this. Here you can see it is working. So then it is perfect. It is working perfectly. Okay, so that is how you want to link your page and all. And I'm going to do some of the stylings. Okay, I'm going to do it very quickly because I say that it is not a CSS section. It is going to be a JavaScript section, and we're going to discuss about the JavaScript. JavaScript is going to be end very soon. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do, I just going to work with the all. So what this representing? So this representing entire document. Okay, so it is like everything. Okay, so I just going to say box sizing property. I know how many of you know box sizing property. So box sizing is nothing but if you give some padding and all. Okay, so if you give some padding and all, it is work within the container itself. It not bulge that. Okay, so it is, if you use the padding, and it not take increase the height and width of any container. Okay, so it is like some of the default behavior by browser. We need to undo this. Okay, so that is what we're going to do. And I just created this box sizing border and all, and I just going to create a style for body. So for that, I just going to say I just going to give a background color. So I love the violet color, so it's cool, right? So violet is for stability and trust. Okay, so I just want to create a violet color, and I just going to give a font family, whatever font family you can give. I just go with simple this. Okay, so let's see how it works. It's fine, it's great, it's cool. Okay, so okay, so and you have a doubt like what is the so many font families is there? Oh, it depends about the browser. For example, in Google Chrome, some of the browser, it's some of the most of the font families is supported. But if you are using Safari, if you are using like something anything like other browsers are out there, right? Some browsers don't support some of the fonts. Okay, so that's why they give a fallback fonts. If the browser not support this font, it will be fallback and it will produce. So both are comes under the same family, but little bit style differences there. That is actually okay. So font family is done, and I just going to say margin 0. So why I'm doing this, here you can see some of the default margin is given, right? I want to get rid from this, so I do this margin 0 done. And next what I'm going to do, I just going to say height of the, okay, so margin 0 and height is equal to 100 viewport, and you don't want to set this now because it is already in the 100 viewports and all. Okay, so it is go and work correctly. Okay, and next what I'm going to do, I just going to work with the display property. It is very important. What is display? So display, you clear about inline block, flex, grid and everything, right? I go and work with the flex. So if I say flex means what would happen means everything comes in a line like this. So why? Because it makes all the variables as an inline, and the default, there is another property is called flex direction. The default is row. The default is in row, right? So this is how it actually works. So this is how this actually works. If you declare a flex direction, then what happened? It would show, it will makes that all the container as an inline, and it will come next to it. Instead of come after that, it will come to next to it. Okay, so that is what happened. So this is defaultly added when you call the flex direction. Okay, so then I was just going to say justify content. So what is this justify content property? Justify content property is used to align your item horizontally. Okay, so here you can see what is horizontal. This is right. So I want to align it in center. How can I say justify content center like this? If I just save this, refresh this, you can see it is right now in center. If I give a full view, you can see it is right now in a center. If I use the flex, what would happen? Everything come next to it, and if I use justify content, it will have the control over the horizontal line. Okay, so that is how it works. The next thing is what we're going to say. We're going to say align items. So it is have the control of the top and bottom, which means the vertical alignment. So I just going to be center. So if I put this center, what would happen? This everything, this alignment, this comes here like this. Okay, so now justify content is for controlling the horizontal direction, and alignment is for controlling the vertical direction. And if you say flex is equal to display is equal to flex, all the items comes like an it comes like an inline. It acts as an inline level. Okay, so every elements comes next to it. Okay, so that is how it works. Now it has come in the pretty center. It looks good. So the next what I'm going to do, I just go and work with the container. So which container? This div. Right now only I'm going to work with the div container. I just want to put the dot container, and here I just going to name all this thing. So inside the container I'm going to say display is equal to flex. So right now also the body is also flex, so the display is also flex. Then what would happen? It will be still act like this. Now I don't want to look like it is not. I want next to it. I want to come below it. How can I do that? You can say I can say display flex direction is there. So I say flex direction by automated, it is in row level, right? If you make this to column level, if I make this to column, then what would happen means everything come below it. For example, if I save this, like what would happen? Okay, so I think just a minute. Okay, so we just put some other contents like justify content center. I think container, right? It is working like container class. Container class is there. Okay, just remove this. What happened? If I want to put the display to flex and I just refresh it, okay, it's now only it's working. Some problem the extension. Okay, so it comes like this, and now I don't want to look like this ugly one. So what I'm going to do, I just going to say display column. So if I make this to not display column, flex direction, there is a property called flex direction. Flex direction would be column, COL column. So what it's going to do, it's going to align everything in a line wise manner. Okay, so you can see that. Okay, like this, it's going to be aligned like this, everything in a line wise manner. Okay, and we have entered the class for counter, and we have entered the container, and we have entered this container, right? So we're just going to complete the soon. So I just going to say like justify content center, and the same thing. Okay, so align item, align content, not content, align items is going to be center. Because the time is running, I'm not able to cover the CSS part and all. I want to go and cover the JavaScript part. Okay, so that is why I just going to say instead of center, we can use the space between. Okay, and next thing is like text align. So text align is aligning the text of the person. And next I just going to say margin I'm going to use for top 10 pixel and for bottom 50 pixel, like this. Okay, like this, and I just refresh it. Now it's look like this, and I just want to arrange the counter. Okay, so I just want to arrange the counter and all. So what I'm going to do, I just go and say out, like you can view it in the full view, you can see it is look like this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I just go and work with this counter. Okay, so where is the counter? The counter is here. I just copy and paste it here. Okay, and I paste it here, and here what I'm going to do, I just going to add like body. Oh, not body, so it is counter, right? So I want this text to be something different. So I just want say font size I just increase it to like 60 pixel. Okay, if I do this, you can see the text is a little bit even more bigger than others, right? So that is what I wanted. And the next thing is what I wanted is margin. I just want to give all the four side a 4 pixel margin. Okay, what this is going to give? It's going to give and space between top, bottom, left and right and everywhere. Okay, so that is what. And right now it is in a full view. Okay, so it does look like this. And what I want to going to do means I just want it in a mobile view. So I just going to make this as a media query. I'm going to use the media query and going to responsive. So I just say media. Okay, so I just don't want this. Inside this, I just going to say about max width. Okay, so if the maximum width, that if the maximum width is greater than the maximum width is, for example, I say 500 pixel. Okay, so below 500 pixel, I want to look, my page want to look like this. You can hear about the word like responsiveness, right? So the same website is look different in the mobile look. It's adapt for the device, right? So that is what I'm doing. So because this pixel size is very low, right? So what I'm going to do here, you can see by default the flex direction is row. That is why it is arranged in a like next to it. Okay, so if I make this flex direction to column and I save this, here you can see it look like this. So actually I want this, but I want only, you can see I don't want in the big screen, I want only in the small screen. How can I do that? But that is why the media query is used. Okay, so if I put the same thing in here, like for example, I just go and call like, I call the body, entire body itself, and I just going to say the flex direction of the body if it work like in conditions. Okay, so flex direction of the body is column. Okay, why? Because the body also we give the display flex. So now we have the access for column. If I say this, you can see it will be in mobile view, it will look like this. I will explain how it works. And also I give some of the margin property for all the side, like give a 40 pixel margin. It could be neat. Okay, like this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, if I increase it for full screen, you can see it is displayed like this. If I view it in a small screen, okay, I just use the browser tool like this, and here you can see when it reaches the, here you can see this is the width. When it reaches the below 500, and you can see that page will automatically responsive. 550, 520, you can see 501, it is still work in a horizontal way. If I decrease this, you can see this is in a, this is comes in a another alignment, right? So this is called as responsiveness, and this responsiveness is done by CSS tool. So how it works, I will just give a quick explanation. So by this is an additional functionality in JavaScript that is called as media query. So it looks for the condition. So what is mean by maximum width? So if the width is maximum 500, which means below 500, this CSS want to apply, and above 500 all the other CSS has to be applied. Okay, so that is how the page will be worked. So if the page comes below 500 width, what would happen? So this page look like this. And if the page becomes above 500, for example, if you are using in laptop or built-in website, it look like this. If you are using it in mobile, so it has a smaller screen, right? So it look like this. Okay, so we created a single website, but it responsive for more other than. Okay, so and I want this I want to little bit bigger and all. So what I can do means I just call the I. Okay, so or you can call dot container. Inside that only the I is that, and I can say that color, like we can increase the font size is equal to 30 pixels, something like little bit more bigger, like this. Okay, okay, now it's working. Okay, so like this, it will be little bit huge, means we can find, right? So do like to this video. Okay, so this is how we created. So now what we need a functionality, right? We have discussed, right? It need to automatically increment its value, and it need to automatically it need to run like a race. When the browser is loaded, it need to run like a race, and it need to stop here. Okay, so that is actually we need it. So okay, so that is going to be done by JavaScript. Okay, so we're going to quick into the JavaScript project. So for that, what I'm going to do in your HTML, first of all, go for your HTML. So how you link the CSS in the top, you need to link the JavaScript in the bottom. So there is a several reason you need to link the JavaScript in the bottom. The main reason is to JavaScript. If you have more number of JavaScript file, if it is in bottom, it will be good. Okay, because it is work in a layer by layer. So JavaScript is a dynamic layer. So it will be lastly loaded means it will be good to work with all the functionality. Okay, so that is. So I just going to say script :src. Okay, so this is actually you need to build, and inside this you need to give the file name. I just going to say main.jss. Okay, so that's it. Okay, if you do that, that's it, and you need to create a file, and I'm going to say main.jss. So for creating a JavaScript file, you need to give a main.jss. So we can check whether our file is linked or not. I just say simply console.log. So what this console.log will do, it will display our output, whatever we are in right inside the console log, it will display in the console bar, right? So I just say hello, simply like this, hello. Okay, so we will check it whether it is working or not. Go for the inspect and go for the console. Here you can see, I think my image is hidden. Here you can see hello is written, right? So which means our JavaScript file is successfully added. Now we're going to write the functionality for this. So how can we write the functionality? Okay, so for that we need to fetch. Okay, so here you need to, we are going to use some of the DOM properties and all. So I think if you're being a fresher, it will be tough to understand, but you can able to grab it when you understand the DOMs and all with the basic level knowledge you have in the previous classes. Okay, so what are you going to do? Here you can see. So here you can see if this is actually a div. Okay, so I want to access for all the element. So what I can do, I can use the node list. So how for getting node list, we can use a query selector all, and we can fetch this container. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do. I just going to say const, and I just going to say like we can say like container is equal to document dot query selector. So what this query selector will give, it will give us a node list. Okay, so where it will we can able to access all the element inside this. Okay, so that is actually node list do. And here what I'm going to do, I just want to call which one, container, right? So I just want to call this container with the dot property. Okay, because this is a class. So I just call this, and now I just going to say console dot log display the container. Okay, so I just go and refresh, and I just go and click the inspect. You can see what are the element we fetched, it will be displayed. It create a node list, and inside the node list, it looks like an array, but it actually not an array. Okay, it creates a node list, and it will gives all the element inside that particular element we fetched. So we fetched the container. Inside that we have this, and we have this, and we have this. Okay, so we want to use this, that is why we fetched the query selector. And here I just going to give another attribute that is called as data, and I just going to say target. Okay, so data target, and here you can use the default values. Like for example, you can use the default value like this. I just copy the same thing for all the three, paste, and paste it here too. Okay, and I just going to cut this, paste it here. Okay, so what this data target is do, so data target is doing nothing here. Okay, what it's going to do means it is like a default value that we are given for this. We need to render it in here, means we can access the attribute and we can use that. That is what, if I refresh this, you can see everything is gone because right now it is empty. Okay, so by using JavaScript, I'm going to use the counter and all. Okay, so it's by default it needs to be in 0. At the end it should be comes in the like 300, 500, and 12,000 like this. Okay, so by default it starts from 0 and it like increasing like this. Okay, so that is what it need to do. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do, I just going to iterate everything because I need to done the same process for all the three. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do, I just say container, so which means the variable we declare now. So this contains all the container, and I just say for each, and for it is like it goes and work on each and element that we have fetched. For example, for each go for first in I and go for D and go for span, like this. It is going to iterate. Okay, So then what I'm going to say, I just going to give like counter, and what I'm going to do, I just going to, there is an parameter I'm adding, arrow function, and here inside this only everything is going to happen. Okay, so I have a parameter that is called as counter. Okay, so I need to, this counter is we going to get. Okay, so where we will get the counter means, first I just going to set a default counter that is going to be a 0. How can I do that? For example, you can see like here what I can say, counter instead of this. Okay, so because that is an actual meaning it gives. Okay, you can give whatever meaning you want, no problem. That what I'm going to say, so this is actually fetching that, right? So I just going to say, I just what I'm going to do, we fetched the container. Right now what we need this counter. So instead of container we fetch this counter. Okay, so right now we have access to this element, and what I'm going to do, counter dot inner HTML text content. Okay, anything here you can give, but there is a difference between HTML and text and everything. I just going to use the text, HTML text. Okay, I just want to display it in a string. If I save this, go here, you can see my counter is replaced in all the place. Okay, fine. So starts from 0, it need to comes for 12,000, it need to comes for the desired one, this need to comes for desired one. So how can I do that? So for that I just going to create another function for this, and before that we need to get that element. How can I get that element? For example, I just going to say const target. Okay, so this is our starting position, right? So this is our starting position 0, and we need an ending position. So that ending position is where, here we mentioned it in an attribute, data target 5000. It is our entity attribute. So I need to fetch this attribute. So for fetching attribute we have an method called get attribute method. So I just going to say document, not document, I just going to say like just going to say counter dot inner HTML. What we can say, like for example, I need to fetch this, which one, this. Okay, so what I'm going to say, counter dot get attribute. So there is a method called get attribute, and in this attribute you need to mention which attribute you're going to get. So right now I have class attribute and I have a data target. What attribute I need a data target attribute, right? So I just going to fetch this. Okay, so how can I fetch this? You just call that attribute, that's fine. Okay, I just copy and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so that's it. Let's see whether it is fetched or not. So how can I display means, for example, I just go and check console.log target like this. Okay, so I just go and display the target. Okay, and I just click the inspect, and I'm checking whether the element, whether the attribute is fetched successfully or not. Okay, here you can see all the attribute 2500, 5000, sorry, 12,000, 5,000, 3,000, everything is fetched successfully. And another thing I want to look into here is the type of, what is mean the type of operator is doing? The type of operator is looking for which data type actually this is. Okay, so I want to check the data type of the persons. Here you can see all the three are string, but I don't want it in a string, because when I have it in a number, then only I can increase it. If I have it in a string, it will concatenate it. So how can I make a string to a number? By using, you can use the parseInt method, or you can use the number method available, or you can simply put the plus sign before the counter. So if you put means, what would happen? Now if I call for the inspect, you can see, go for the console and check it, everything is changed into number. So this is called as type conversion. We can able to convert one data type to another. That is what I did. Okay, so now we converted it into a number. Okay, so that's it, fine. And next what we want, we need to increment it, right? So how many times I want to increment? For example, I want to increment it by 5 times. Like what happened? 0 plus 5 5 plus 5 10. So like this it want to increment, right? So you need to increment multiple times. So that is I want to set. So for that I just say count c is equal to, and here I just going to say, sorry, I just going to say increment. So for incrementing this, you can say incree method, and for incrementing this, what we need the target, right? So we need the target that should be divided by something, like for example I said 200, something like this. Okay, so what it produce a number. By using this number only, where what we going to do, we going to increment that. Okay, so what I just, and another thing is I just going to display const c is equal to, and I just going to add this. Okay, so I just want to change this into also number, and I going to say counter dot inner HTML. So what is actually the counter dot inner HTML have? It has 0. So the 0 value is stored in the C. Okay. So and here what happened? This incree what is doing means it just divide the total. For example, here what 12,000 is that? 12,000 divided by 200 is 60. Okay. So plus 60 plus 60 plus 60. That is what it's going to do. That is the logic we're going to create now. Okay. How can I use this? Mean I just going to use the if class, and here I just going to say if c, what is c? C is 0 initial value. Okay, c is 0 actually initial value. I going to say if c is less than target. So what is meant by target? Target is the top value. Okay, so what is the top value? For example, 2 to 12,000, 5,000, 3,000 is the top value. So c is less than target. It is true or not? It is true. Why? Because the value of variable c is 0 and the topmost variable is 12,000. Okay, if it is true means I need to run a function. Okay, so which function I going to run means I just say counter. So sorry, not I need to run an action. I just say add the counter dot inner text is equal to, and here I going to use the template literal, and here I just going to use dollar. This is the syntax for using template literal, and here I just say math dot seal. Why I'm using this math dot seal? Because I want a rounded value. I don't want a decimal value, because the follower count will not be in decimal. Okay, so I want to round it, right? So that is why I'm using math dot seal. If I use math dot seal, mean what would happen if a number comes like 4.6, then it take 5. If a number count less than 5, it will take the topmost one. Okay, so that is what the seal do. Okay, so math dot seal, and I going to say c. What is c? C is the 0 1, and add the increment value. So increment value is here is 60. For first one it is 60, and second one is different, and second one also different. Add the increment value. I say INCRE, add this incree value. So now what happened? Every time this if condition becomes true, then every time it add up with 60 60 60, and it reach the topmost target, like how many followers we have. Okay, so then what I going to do, I just going to run this function, right? I want to run this function repeatedly with a certain time delay. For example, let's see if I run this function, mean right now it is in 0. If I run this function means, for example, I going to run everything in a function only. So here I just going to say the function. Okay, so function, and here you say update. Okay, so update is there, and what this function is going to have, it's going to wrap all the thing. Okay, whatever the thing we have written, it's going to run. Okay, till the end. Paste. Okay, so what happened if I call this function means it will take all the attribute and all everything and all, and it will run the function. So for running this function, what we need to do, we need to call that function. So what is the function name? Function name is update, right? So I need to call that function. So how can I call this function? For example, I just say update, something like this, and here I call, like, why it show me an error? Update, just a minute. Okay, it's showing me error. Okay, let's check whether what happens. I just copy this, and I going to paste it here, and I just call the functions. Okay, like this, and I just run this. It will not working. Okay, so it shows me an error. Function update counter. Okay, just a minute, I will go through the error what I'm facing. Okay, So here it is a parenthesis is out here where it comes from. I think for each is here and for each is enclosed. Okay, so that is for each, and inside the for each we have returned and another, there is a function, and this function is calling in another function, and inside this okay, so I just used, instead of expression I used the function constant. Okay, so I want to call it as an expression form. I don't want to use the function variable. Now I save this. If it is in 0, now I call the update counter after this function. Okay, now you can see quickly it comes for 12,000. Update counter and const is there, everything, this is fine. And what I'm going to do here is I want to increase it, right? So I just want to increase with a certain delay. So for that, what I'm going to do, I just going to set the time interval, set time out function. I don't want to set interval, so it's going to run the function with a certain delay. So what is the function I want to run? The function I want to run is update counter, right? So before that I just run the function here like update counter like this. If I call randomly like this, means then what would happen? I just use this update counter comma with a certain delay of 1 second. Okay, so that is how it's want to run. Okay, I refresh it. Counter dot inner text is equal to math dot seal, and everything C plus increment is fine, and we have added like update counter is 2 and all, and I just go through all the code and I will come to you and explain everything finally. Okay, and I just going to say like counter dot inner text. So what I going to do, I just going to use the inner text target. Okay, so the target is 1200, that is what it should be there. Okay, so I think this if is not running, not this, everything is running. So I just want to call this counter dot, here I just say counter dot inner text is equal to math dot seal, and here I call that C constant and increment, right? So this is also working, everything is fine, and I just call the set timeout update counter, whether this update counter, right? I just copy and paste it in all the place. Yeah, yes, it is update counter only. Then what happened? I save this. Just to give a minute. Who is sending this? Oh, it's like a span. Don't check this, like check all other things. Okay, or the comments are okay. So I just explain what the code I have written, and we go through the error and we will find out that. Okay, so first what I did, I just created a function with an variable, and I set a variable that is constant target, that is going to fetch our data attribute. Okay, so after running this for each, only for each, what it's going to do, it's going to run and iterate in everywhere, right? So that is what it's going to do. And after that, after creating this, I just created a variable like console.log plus dot inner HTML, and I created increment target slash 200. Okay, so which means if I call like console dot log, I say increase, then our answer will be displayed in the browser, and we can check that in the console too. And it's showing in an error in here, uncaught reference error math. So I think, oh yeah, this is why the console is needed. I want to put the math as a capital one. That is why I have. That is what all the error happens. Okay, now it's working fine. I refresh the page. You can see boom, right? So what I did, I just explained. Give me 3 minutes, I will explain it. Okay, so first I did for each. So for each, for which counter? So counter is nothing but this tag, this div tag. So we have a class counter, right? So first it goes for this counter tag, and it goes for this counter, and it goes for this counter. Okay, so for each, iterate on everything, and I set the value to 0 because I want to start from 0 and I want to run that. And I just say update counter. So there is a function that is going to be run inside the for each function, for each iterator. So if I call the update counter, means what would happen means the target plus. Why I use the plus? It is want to convert it to a number instead of something like this. So counter.get attribute is nothing but the attribute we are having, like 12,500, 50,000, everything. That is the attribute. So we can see that in the console itself. And what is the C? The C is nothing but this. Okay, C is nothing but counter.inner HTML. So by default, the counter.inner HTML is 0. So that is what I fetched. Okay, so and we want to increment it, right? So we want to increment it by some value, right? For example, 0 plus 60, 60 plus 60, 120. So then only we can able to see the value is changing like this. So what it doing, incrementing by 60, 60, 60, 60, 60 like that. Okay, so it work like that. So I say, I like giving a correct proportion. That is what it's doing. And next, what I say, the console is not needed. And here I say if C, what is C? C is 0. And what is target? Target is here 12,000, 5,000, 3,000. So obviously 0 is less than all that. Okay, if 0 is less than that, then what you need to do, counter dot inner HTML. What is my inner HTML? What the same thing, how we put 0, the same like this. Why going to say math.ceil? This is a method to round our numbers. And C plus increment, which means 0 plus increment. What is the increment value? Increment value is divided value, which means the 60. So 0 plus 60 is going to 60. So if I say it will comes here 60, it will comes 30, it will comes like this. For example, if I remove this, you can see that. If I remove this, you can see 60, 25 and 15, right? So it will come from the target it divided. Okay, so and I'm simply calling without set timeout function, without a set timeout function. I just called this method means I just called this method simply like this means. Then what happened? You cannot see the changes. Okay, it will directly come to that finishing line. You can see it will. If I refresh this, if you can see it will directly come to the finishing line. So we are not able to see the process. So that is why I added an callback like an asynchronous work that is called a set timeout method. Okay, so what this is going to be do, it's going to run a particular function with a certain delay. Okay, then what happen if this function is going to run but with a certain delay? So which delay? I just going to say, like for example, I just say 400, something like this. You can see very slow changes, 60, 120, 80, 40. So this is timing represent the delay. Okay, so if I put it in millisecond, it will comes, it is in millisecond. If I put 400 means what happened, 400 millisecond it will be run. If I put 4,000, it takes 1 second to go for the next value. Okay, so this is how it keeps on increasing like that. And what I say else, so when it becomes false, when the 0th value reaches above targeted value, because when it reaches the 12,000, I don't want to run further. Okay, so then it becomes false. Then it shows counter.inner text. What is the target actual value? The target actual value is right now 12,200, right? So it will be displayed like this. Okay, instead of 400, I just say 2. You can see that fast it's going to be run. It's going to be run in very fast like this, patafat, right? So and finally you need to call the function. Then only this function, all the function will be work. Okay, so this is the set timeout function. Once again, boom, right? It will be great, right? I think you will implement in your projects too. Okay, so this is all about for today's project, and I want to give you an like you need to complete for attendance, you need to complete all the 5 projects and you will get the certificate. Okay, so that is from our side. And another thing is that we are conducting an offline boot camp, and if the students, you are really excited to learn from personally from TWT team, you can register for here. Okay, because this is going to be a huge opportunity, and it's going to be run, wait a minute, it's going to be run for limited seat. Okay, we are not providing this for all time. It's just going to for 2 months, and we're going to take the limited seats. And if you want, you can go through it, and if you have any doubt, you can fix a personal one-to-one meet with me. Okay, so I will fix a personal one-to-one meet with you also. Thank you. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me in LinkedIn. Okay, so if you want my LinkedIn also, I will share my LinkedIn page too. Okay, where you can just get a connect with me, and you can ask the doubt regarding the web development, and you can ask. And if you want any doubt with the project also, you can ask. Okay, the project, or if you want to ask the doubt clearing. And also I'm conducting one-to-one free appointment. Okay, so 30 minutes you can talk with me for free, for only for the 2 hours in a day. Okay, so if you are in WhatsApp group, if you are in TWD, and you will get that link. Okay, you can book a free appointment and you can clear all your doubt with me. Okay, and that is also a huge opportunity provided by TWD team. I hope that this project is going to be a very interesting one. Try it out, and I know that if you are new to this channel and right now only you are learning, directly going to the project is not that easy. Okay, so I highly recommend go and watch the previous video or wait for a few days and go through some of the syntax. I will be come back and teach you the again the basic and advanced concepts for you. Okay, if you really want it, give a comment. If you really want the basics and advanced concept for JavaScript, give a comment here. I will really just put the same series again also. Okay, I will teach you live with TWD again also. And that's all. And this about this bootcamp, and this is not a recorded section and all. Okay, so because you can find a recorded section for everywhere. Okay, even our YouTube channel is more than enough, but here what we are giving a live classes, so you will get interact with us with a lively. Okay, and if you are a working professional, you want to shift your career, if you are a student, and this is for like time convenience, like every Saturday you need to spend at least like 6:30 to 9, 6:30 to 10:30. That is going to be your course teaching hours. Okay, so where we come live and we will teach everything. And also we have a personal doubt clearing classes. After every classes you have any doubts, you can come for the doubt clearing classes. That is going to be happen in Wednesday 7 to 10 p.m. You can clear all your doubts here. Okay, and also this project, if you finish all the projects and all, you can get a job referrals from the TWD team also. Okay, so not because you are completing the course. Okay, you just come and you watch, you simply go means you will not get job. If you have an interest, you complete all the assignment given by TWD, then you will capably you itself find a job. Okay, so that is our concept. Okay, so I think fine with that. Okay, so I recommended highly just go through some of the HTML and CSS, because the next class I'm not going to teach the HTML and CSS because it takes very time and we run after JavaScript, right? So I'm going to focus on JavaScript. HTML CSS is very easy, you can learn. Okay, with our YouTube classes and all also we are going to teach it, but learn something, that's only that, then only you can grab it. Okay, so if you have any doubt you can give. I wait for 1 minute, and if you have no doubt we can leave our we can close our live section for today. Okay, so if you have any doubts you can make that. Thank you very much. Thank you Dolphin King, and you are following for so many days, right? So many months you are following TWD. It's been great. Thank you for your supports and love. And all the other students, if you are new here, give a subscribe and like for us. And our channel is growing little bit huge. Okay, so you can see if you are being a pillar for this channel, and this is going to be happen for everyone. Okay, so do the basic things what you want. Okay, so then if you have any doubt you can ask. I wait for right now it's 9:38. If no doubt is there, we can end up with 9:39. Okay, some extra 10 minutes is taken, sorry for that. Okay, so you can build your own counter, and I will give you the code also. Okay, so whatever code I'm written, I will give to my founder, and our founder will share it with you. Okay, so there is no problem in that also. If you really want the code and you need to work it. Okay, this is like a basic thing. Okay, so I think now you have an understanding like how JavaScript is working, right? So this interactivity, there is this something extra work giving life for the website. That is what JavaScript is actually doing. And this works is going to helpful for your frameworks learning like React, Angular. And one more thing, like our bootcamp also have the complete package. It's going to cover the entire Marin stack. You can learn React, you can learn whatever you want, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and Node.js, and you can learn whatever the entire thing you actually needed to get a job, you will get it. Okay, that's it. I think no. Thank you, Logesh. Thank you so much. Okay, so just give a feedback for this live section and how can we improve. Just give a feedback for this, and if you are in LinkedIn, just tag me with your post in the LinkedIn. I will be there to see your feedbacks eagerly. Okay, so just put a post about this live section in the LinkedIn. I will be there to view your feedback. Okay, so I think no doubts for here. Okay, so I'm going to end up this section, and the next time I come with like some code clearance and all. I try to view the Visual Studio Code with an white also for you. Okay, I try to do that. Okay, Okay, guys, thank you so much for attending this live. I hope this section will help you a lot. And another 4 days also, we're going to look at these like small projects for 4 days also is going to happen. Have a consistency with you. Okay, bye. Really great work.